Hello again, everyone, after so long yet again. Well, I've got some sad news, which is the reason for my non-posting lately, and some good news. The sad news was that I was away from posting and all my work because my lovely father passed on in March. So I was away from anything to do with numerology, which was very difficult for me. Obviously, of course, as the death of my poor father, and dealing with my poor mum who needed and still needs a lot of support since my dad passing over. But bless him, he was in a lot of pain and he was ready to go home. And now he's in a better place than all of us right now, enjoying source energy for all that it brings our soul. So, but the good news is that I have just posted my second book to Amazon. Well, it's nearly there. By this afternoon, my second book that mixes the life path and the expression number, which is like what this video is. So it's how the talent numbers, like the expression number, maturity number, the intensifiers, to a greater or a lesser degree, help the life path number. It's a big old book, but it will give you all the information you need and any different combination you need when it comes to the life path and expression number. So I'm really excited that that is coming out today, and that will be available on Amazon. And that's called Remember Your Talents. But if you forget the name of the book, just put my name in, Katie Ewers. If you go to Amazon and put Katie Ewers in, Youers, it's such a, what can I say, a rare name that my books just come up when my name goes in. So that's kind of a good thing, I think. So let's get on with today then. My request for today, which is the Life Path 9, supported by the talent number 4. Now with this number, I see, now the 9 is here to be spiritual, to trust faith over logic, and the expression number 4 is going to be more about the logic. So there's going to be some difficulty here for the expression number 4 to go down the spiritual path and start to put faith before logic. But when it comes to the 9's task to be an entrepreneur and to trust their abilities and keep going, the expression number 4 is going to be really useful, because the 4 is all about business and working and getting things done. But the 9 also needs to be an audience communicator, which again is going to make the 4 go no, no, no. And it's something that they're going to need to develop towards. So there's some elements of the expression number 4 that can be skillfully used to support the life path 9. But of course, as with every life path, there's some development needed. As a life path 9, you need to be a bit more socially confident. You need to be able to talk to audiences. And most important, you need to start trusting the soul within you, start trusting spiritual law and spiritual wisdom over worldly law and wisdom. And that is not going to be an easy task, but that is your task for this lifetime if you have these 2 numbers in your core energy. So, as I've said, your areas to development to achieve, if you're a 9, is that you're here to be more spiritual. You're here to develop the ability, that's listening to it, because we've all got intuition. It's whether we listen to it or take notice of it and act on it that matters. So listen to, act on the intuitive voice within you rather than the worldly opinionated voice within you, and use that intuition to filter any worldly opinions, ideals, laws and conventions through this intuitive wisdom, because it's not always congruent, and sometimes we can, and a 9 especially, can act on worldly conventions and worldly ideals, and that's the excuse for their behavior, when really if they'd gone to the voice within them and really looked inside themselves, they wouldn't have taken that action. So it's very much about looking away from the world towards the spiritual, being more trusting of faith over worldly logic. But with that, you've got to be, because 9's a powerful number, you've got to be ethical and responsible with that, because a 9 can be a spiritual teacher, but they can be a very ethical and truthful and authentic spiritual teacher, but they can also be the kind of spiritual teacher that can influence people down destructive paths. So it's really important that the 9 develops towards being very ethical and responsible. And as I said, they've got to learn to communicate, lead other people, influence others by not only speaking to audiences, but by practicing their preached wisdom in their everyday action as a teacher, as the way they live their life, or as a teacher, a speaker, a counselor, an advisor. And finally, the 9 needs to be an entrepreneur of their passions. They're the entrepreneur of what they love and what they're good at. And the expression 4 can help with some elements of this, not so much the spirituality and communication, because the expression number 4 is much more about the world. It's much more about setting goals and being methodical and building inner and outer security and stability. And that's what the expression 4 is good at. Building worldly stability and security. That's having the family. That's having the stable job or the business, or even the business empire. 4s can build business proper well, and they're good at building families as well to make their lives secure. 4s are good at committing themselves to building that stable foundation. They work hard, or you work hard as a 4. You set goals, you achieve your goals, and you do it step by step, meticulously, one step at a time, like the hard-working tortoise. You might be a bit slow and methodical, but you always get it done, and you always get there in the end. The 4's talent, they would say slow and steady wins the race. And they're right a lot of the time when they're an expression number 4. They don't miss steps, and they make sure they're meticulous and quite detail orientated about it. And actually they can get to the point of annoying with the amount of I's they must dot and T's they have to cross. However, that is what creates the stability in any structure, business or organization, or even idea. When you build structure around an idea, you've just got to get involved with the detail. There's no getting around it, and a 4 can do that very, very well. They're a practical business person, able to build any kind of structure and stability around dynamic ideas, around dynamic people. The 4 is the one to put that structure, safety and stability and security in the way. Let's have a look at it broken down. So primarily as a life path 4, you're here to learn, to listen, to follow your intuitive wisdom and live to spiritual laws, not worldly laws and conventions and ideals. I'm not telling you to go out and break the law. I'm telling you to think about the laws and the conventions and the ideals and the prejudices and the bigoted opinions there are out there. Some of these worldly opinions are ethical, some of them are good, they're inclusive, and they promote the well-being of others, but some laws as well, unfortunately, conventions and ideals of the world do not promote the well-being of some people. In fact, they can be quite exclusive, discriminatory, bigoted, and this can sometimes lead to horrific behavior when it comes to its worst elements. So this is an element of the 9 that really needs to be dealt with within a life path 9, because they can follow worldly laws and prejudices and then use those opinions and laws as an excuse for their actions, even though they know that if they'd followed their own intuition and gone their own way, which is what they do anyway, and if they'd have followed their intuitive wisdom and not pushed it away, they wouldn't have acted in the way that they did. They were just following a worldly ideal. And, some people can get very damaged or even killed or hurt from this kind of situation. So that's something that the 9 has to work with. It's like, to me, the biggest element of a life path 9. But your 4 talent, it means that you're very worldly, which has the potential to exacerbate the 9's focus on worldly laws and worldly ideals, which can be a difficulty for this life path when they're here to learn to be more spiritual. You tend as a 4 to focus on convention, worldly laws, and you can at your lowest, bring the 9 down to bigotry, which can be a difficult thing. I'm not saying just because you're these mix of these two numbers that you're a bigot. Please, I don't want people saying that I've called them horrific names. It's at your lowest. You have this tendency sometimes not to always accept others. Nines are going to be like this to varying degrees. Some very developed nines wouldn't be like this at all. But it's the lower level nines that are still taking the first steps towards their development, or a lower level soul that might find this more difficult. So please don't be thinking I'm calling you any horrific bigoted names if you're a 9. It just means you're a very developed soul and you're here to accept everyone around you and learn to do that. So to support that life path 9, you need to turn away from the worldly, the practical, not totally, of course, because otherwise you'll be living in a tree in the forest. Look away, turn your focus away from the practical, the rational world, the outside exterior world, and look within and to the spiritual, because your intuition is going to be and should be an excellent, invaluable source of wisdom for you. And it should be that wisdom that you follow, not the wisdom convention and ideals of man on earth. Quiet musing and meditation is a useful first step to start acquainting yourself with the intuitive voice within you, so that you're taking less notice of the sometimes very unethical and bigoted opinions and conventions of the world, and think more spiritually, think more towards the well-being of your fellow man, which is really important, especially for a 9. You're here to learn to act for the benefit of others with integrity, because like I said, the 9 at its lowest can be quite a con merchant. They can be inauthentic and make people think they're someone they're not. They can come across as this spiritual being that's going to be the fixer and the answer to all their prayers, and actually they're a con person. But on the other side of the pile here, the 9 can do too much for other people, and they can be such a fixer of everyone's lives, trying to help and lift everyone up and protect everyone around them, that they end up exhausted themselves. They end up not asking for help themselves. So the 9 needs to really balance, their selfishness and their altruism. That's what the 9 is all about, being ethical and responsible and looking after the well-being of others without, of course, forgetting your own. So it's like that balanced altruism and integrity, so that whatever you do as a powerful 9, it's actually for the benefit of others and not just for selfish or nefarious reasons. But again, this is the lowest level of 9. And remember, this is a very developed number. So there's going to be some very intense lessons in a number like a 9, because it is the biggest number in numerology, not including the master numbers. But again, even the master numbers are double of the lower numbers. Double 1, double 2, double 3. So your 4 talent energy makes you very ethical and responsible, which is really useful, because as a powerful 9, you've got to be responsible with what you do, because you can influence other people and you can take them to the clouds, to the sky, or you can take them to destruction. So it's so important that you have an expression number like a 4 that means that you're incredibly responsible and ethical. However, where a 4 stumbles is that they're very task and goal orientated. 4s are about achieving their own goals, setting their own priorities, and the feelings or well-being of others is they're not mean or evil. It's just lower on their priority list, others, than achieving their own goals. And we do need these kind of people, otherwise nobody would get anything done. So 4s are more goal-centered, more focused on achieving their goals. But as a 9 life path, they are here. This is telling them you're here to be more people focused. You need to prioritize other people's well-being more and act in a way that supports other people in your community, first of all, and the wider world, because the 9's here to be a humanitarian as well. They're here to learn, as a powerful 9, to lead not only by speaking and doing all the, this is what you should do, or telling stories about what people should do. They've got to lead by practical example. They've got to show people that if they preach compassion, they must live compassion, and they must show people around them how they are compassionate. They've got to lead by example and practice what they preach. You can't go against and act differently to what you've preached to your followers or the people that you teach as a 9, because you can, as a 9, very, very powerful, quite an oldish soul. You can be quite domineering, the advisor with all the answers, the fixer, when really you need to be letting other people walk their own path, and you've got to let other people make their own mistakes. So you're here to be a leader, but to a point where you don't take over the lives of others and end up being a fixer of their lives. And, you're just stepping on somebody else's path when you're doing everything for them and, solving all their problems for them. You're actually stopping them from learning their lessons in life. And you're stopping yourself from focusing on what you need to do in life, But lead by example, practice what you preach. If you're going to say something should be done, you must behave in that way so that you're ethical and responsible and you're teaching in a positive way. Your 4 talent energy means that you are a reluctant leader, really. You like familiar groups and your family, and you like working on your own. But leadership is not, it doesn't mean you can't be a leader. You just don't prioritize leadership in your life. Your kind of leadership is just some, maybe some controlling neurotic rules that you might put in place. You're a rule creator, which will help your leadership, but really not one to want to exude your personal power to others. You're sensible, you're quite stoic emotionally, and a very rational and logical advisor. You're unlikely to take over people's lives as a 4, which is a good thing, because, as I said, you've got quite a goal focus. You focus on your own goals and your own way forward. So that focus is goal related, not people related. So unless the people are part of your secure foundation, so you can be a bit controlling to family members and maybe trusted friends, and it's only because you might feel that they're unsafe or what they're doing makes you unsafe. So you don't tend to tell other people what to do, but you can be a bit controlling of people that are around you, especially family. If you feel unsafe or they're making you feel unsafe or unstable. Support your life path 9 then by, as I said, studying spiritual law, looking in that spiritual development area, looking in the spiritual direction. And it's going to be against the grain for you, but this is important for your life path. Looking towards the spiritual and then manifesting, trusting and manifesting your intuitive wisdom in your daily actions for your followers and the people that you teach to emulate, because then you're practicing what you preach. If you preach compassion, act compassion. If you preach love, be loving. That's what the 9 is here to do. You're here to make your life your teaching. Okay, so not only will people follow you in the moment, but your wisdom follows on so that they can use it within their own lives as a counselor. Not just what you say to people, it's how you live your life and walk your path. Because as a 9, you've got a big responsibility. You're here to be and develop towards the multifaceted 9, the totality of all the numbers, very, very high in previous experience and cellular knowledge that feeds their intuition, so their inner knowing. So this inner knowing needs to be filtered not only through your speech, but the way you behave and teach and the example that you set to other people in the world. That's going to be key for you as a 9. 4s, you're talented in the 4 energy, and you might struggle to mentor or counsel others, again, because you're more focused on your own goals, really, and you won't really put anything into other people. You really feel as a 4 that people should be walking their own path. You're better at analysing the world, logic, and the objective, tangible evidence than you are dealing with people that are subjective, changeable, and might be different from you. So support your life path 9 by shifting your focus again. This isn't an easy combination. Can't speak. This isn't an easy combination, a 9 and a 4, because they're kind of different, very different from each other. So again, to walk your 9 path as a 4, you've got to shift your focus towards communication, influencing others positively with your wisdom to improve other people's spiritual well-being. Rather than just achieving your own goals, which is what you already do. You're here to be broad-minded, to accept diverse people. Like I said, sometimes the 9 can be quite discriminatory. Now, they can do it in a subtle way, just be a bit discriminatory sometimes, which a lot of us tend to be, some more than others. But there are, of course, some that, are really, they're not down with diverse people. They think everyone should look the same and have the same colour skin and blah, blah, blah. All that really damaging stuff. The white supremacist and the other way, all makes me shudder, and the 9 is here to be that broad-minded person that accepts every race, creed, religion, gender, or whatever gender you express yourself as or not as. You might be non-gendered, but just accept these people for who they are, because the 9 is here to be a humanitarian, to look at the world and accept everyone and be a humanitarian to the world, to make the world a better place through acceptance of diverse people, a global consciousness, because this develops away from being quite judgmental, exclusive, sometimes narrow-minded, and at a 9's worst, bigoted. But not all of you. Again, I'm not calling you a bigot if you are a life path 9. I'm saying that you can have, to a certain extent, difficulties, especially in your early development of the 9, in accepting diverse people. But you might be further down your path than another 9 is, and you might have already got past, and you might already have that global consciousness. So again, please, I'm not calling you a bigot if you're a 9. However, you might struggle with this a bit if you're a 9 with an expression 4, because the problem with expression 4s is they're better at being around like-minded people, i.e. people that are like them. And this can exacerbate the exclusivity that a low-level 9 can be prone to. So the expression 4 only being able to be around people that are like them can, these two numbers can exacerbate that disconnection between races or opinions. You might struggle as a talented 4 to deal with or feel safe around the others that aren't like you, others that aren't familiar to you. So this can exacerbate sometimes the non-acceptance of a life path 9. So it's really important for this 9 to, use their 4 ability to set goals, so that they can set goals for themselves that will help them to better understand diverse people, do more traveling, meet more people that are from different and diverse backgrounds. You will realize that we are more alike than you will ever dream of. They're just human souls like everyone else. Everyone's the same. We all come from the same place, and whatever color, creed, or whatever you believe in, we're all the same underneath. And the more you get in contact with more diverse people, the more you'll realize whether you come from Papua New Guinea or Manchester, United Kingdom, we're all human beings and souls, and we're all the bloody same. All right. You could be a humanitarian as a 9. This is what you can develop towards. More people focus, looking after those that are near, but also those that are far. You could bring safety, stability, and security to those that need it most, close to you and are far away from you as well. There's always a way to merge these numbers. Again, responsibility, ethics. The idea of responsibility and ethics is mentioned twice in Life Path 9, because sometimes the 9, they can just be quite spontaneous, and they can act or say something or do something, and they can create damage unintentionally. So it's important that they think before they act, and they don't run away from the consequences of their actions if they do act and something goes wrong, because they're very powerful and they need to act that power responsibly. The good thing here is the 4 talent energy makes them extremely cautious, extremely responsible, and definitely determined to do the right and safe thing, which is really helpful for marring the 9's tendency to be irresponsible at times and not think before they act. The 4 talent number is honest, and they take responsibility for the consequences of their actions. All 4s do that. So supporting that 9 is going to be easy there. It's using that 4 integrity to ensure that they always act responsibly and take full responsibility for their actions, And of course, most importantly, learn from their errors, mistakes. And as I said at the beginning, this is another bit where the 4 is going to be quite useful, because the 9 needs to develop as an entrepreneur, a business person, but it's going to be something that they're passionate about. 9s market and creatively market a business that they are passionate about as an entrepreneur. They need work that has meaning for them, but definitely working towards that business and making money from your communication or whatever it is you do as a 9. So your 4 talent, it makes you excellent at practical business, which is excellent. It gives you that base ability you need to set goals and create processes and procedures and make sure everything's done and dusted, which is really good. It's good abilities to have. So use that business ability that you have through the 4 to support your life path 9 to be entrepreneurial. But first of all, you've got to find, if you haven't already, your passion, your focus. What is it that is something that means a lot to you that you would love to market in a business? Find that passion first. Then your 4 ability can really kick in. Set goals. Create your plans, your processes and your procedures in order to progress your passion into a secure entrepreneurial business that supports your life path 9. Excuse me. You're also here to develop excellent social skills. You need to as a 9, because you're influencing other people, and if people don't listen to you, you can't influence them. Okay. You're here to develop the skills as a powerful speaker and influencer of others. And, when you're a fully developed 9 at your best, people hang on your every word. So you're very powerful with your words, and you can really influence people towards positive and great things. But remember, you can do the opposite as well. You can lead people towards their destruction. So as a 9, you're here to develop positive social skills that improves the well-being of others. Your 4 talent energy is not really a social being when it comes to meeting new people, being the center of attention, speaking to new groups, especially people that are unfamiliar to them, and people that they don't know already is not going to be an easy task for you as a 4. You're better in quiet studies, solitude, research, or quiet social events with people you already know, like trusted friends and family. So this is going to be a difficult one, but support your life path 9 by socializing more with more diverse people. And this can link into the other element, really, of being able to accept more diverse people. So socialize more with people that are different to you in whichever way you can. Socialize and raise your acceptance and your confidence with people that aren't like you. It's very, very important for you as a 9. Because raising your social confidence will help you to develop your ability to speak to groups and socialize with others charismatically and be that spiritual teacher you're here to be as a 9 influencer. Again, looking after the well-being of others is the top priority for you as a 9. Not your own goals as a talented 4, not your own progression, but more looking after the well-being of others, but of course in a balanced way, because obviously you've got to have your own entrepreneurial business as well. But when you're in trouble and you need support, you can sometimes not ask for help, and you can try and deal with everything all by yourself. 9s can even think it's a weakness to ask other people for support. And this is sometimes can be the downfall of a 9, because they give so much support out, but they don't ask for it back, or they don't take the energy of love and support back. They seem to think they have to deal with it all themselves. So they're here to look after other people's well-being, but it's so important that the 9 looks after their own well-being as well in a balance. Your 4 talent energy is going to make you even more independent, which is going to exacerbate your tendency to not ask for help when you need it. So it's important, if you are these 2 numbers, that you become aware of the fact that you might try and do too much yourself, and that you need to be a bit more interdependent when it comes to sharing your difficulties. It would certainly make your life easier and more bearable, because as a 4, you tend to want to do things for yourself and rely on yourself. And like I said earlier, that you think as a 4 that people should set goals and help themselves and get themselves and pull themselves up by their bootstraps, as because you're too busy yourself with your own stuff and your own goals in order to look after and nappy wipe other people. This is the general gist of a 4. Support your life path 9 then, but again, developing your ability to look towards others' well-being and not just telling everyone to man up and get on with it. You've got to learn to speak to trusted friends as well and family when you need help. It's more about that interaction, looking after the well-being of those around you, and a key one as a 9, allowing other people around you to care for you too, so that you don't end up burning out through lack of support from other people. And it wouldn't be the fault of the people around you. It would be because you haven't asked for it, or you may even hide your heart and push other people away from helping you at times because you just seem to think it's a weakness. But it is vital for you as a 9 that you give and receive love and and support in a balanced way. And you must learn to receive as much as you can give. Again, the 9 is about completion. It's about endings. You're here as a 9 to wrap things up, let go, surrender, move on. Because sometimes 9s can hold on to a victim mentality and hold on to feelings that no longer serve them, but feel unable to move on because of this victim mentality. This person hurt me, therefore I want to, at their worst, they can even want to hurt these people back. And have these like vengeful ideas, or they just hold themselves back with anger or emotional difficulty. And it all comes from this victim mentality. They hurt me in the past, so I'm not going to forgive them and I can't let go. And the 9 is all about letting go, giving up and surrendering. Okay, it's all about understanding that the world is a learning place, and we're going to go through both light and dark in order to evolve as spiritual beings. And the dark experiences are here to teach us something. They are certainly not to hold us back through victim mentality. Definitely not. Gone through the wrong way when you allow difficult experience to hold you back and weaken you. That is not what they're there for. So your 4 talent energy means you're brilliant at letting go, which is excellent. For a 9 that struggles to let go, having a 4 talent energy here is a good thing. Might not be good at helping you to be spiritual or communicate to audiences, but when it comes to letting go of issues and not walking your path full of victimhood and woe is me, the 4 is going to be useful to stop that happening. The 4 is good at letting go, moving on and saying, right, on to the next. And that's just what you need to support you as a life path 9. So as a 9, you need to learn to let go of feelings and beliefs that no longer serve your greater good, or the greater good of other people or those around you. Negative experience, remember, as well as positive, light and dark. They're all lessons for your development and your evolution. And the point there is to learn the lesson and move on from it. Is to develop your soul intuitively using this experience, this negativity, this positivity. It's all there to show you something, to teach you something, to evolve your soul to even higher levels. So I hope you found my video useful today. I'm going to try and continue daily posting videos because I've been so erratic with my posting lately, what with my books and then of course the passing of my dad. And I've got lots of requests to catch up on, and I don't want you guys to feel neglected either. And I'm planning some lives in the future, but that's to come because otherwise I'll pile too much on myself. So if you'd like to ask me for a reading, please email me or contact me on social media. If you'd like to learn all about numerology, I have 2 books that I have on sale on Amazon. If you want, you can just go to Amazon and put in my name, Katieyoures, and my 2 books should come up. I mean, the second one isn't quite on Amazon yet, so give it a few hours. But those books is going to be on Amazon. And if you want to learn face-to-face, I do one-to-one teaching of numerology. And of course, I've got courses on Udemy, a foundation course, which you should do if you don't know much, and then a master course, which blends all the numbers. And then my books would become even more useful for you then. If you'd just like to request a video or ask me a question or anything that way, I love to hear from you guys. Contact me by make a comment Send me a social media message or an email, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But as ever, guys, I want you to trust the soul within you, because only your own soul's intuitive wisdom knows what's best for you.